So is it fair to say willpower is the only thing standing between you and your weight loss goals? Or is there more to it than that? Is it more complicated? What are the things that are stopping people from them being able to reach their weight loss goals? Is it certain circumstances that pop up? Is it more of a mental thing? Or is it literally just because of the fact you aren't garnering your willpower? This is actually a question that people talk about all the time, and they actually will recite to themselves, or they'll even argue about, because there are individuals that say it requires more than just willpower, than just pushing through the pain or getting over the circumstances during the day, or getting around just the things that appear in their life in order for them to get their weight loss goals. While there are other people that say, no, there's actually more to it than that when it comes down to reaching your weight loss goals, because there are certain circumstances that come up. There are possibly even medical issues that arise. Something may have happened with your family. Maybe you're finding it hard because you haven't done this before, or there's other reasons that could attribute to you yo-yo dieting or yo-yo exercising and so on and so forth. Now, me being a trainer for the past 17 plus years, training a lot of people in person and also online, have gotten some ideas and also some answers when it comes to this, and especially when I'm training somebody in person, and I've also gotten my answers from my online clients. I've got a host of reasons as to why this does happen, but I'm curious to know what you think. What do you think is the reason why people actually find it hard to gain their weight loss? And it's funny, because the answer is, from my perspective of doing this from a long time, is they're essentially both right. Ultimately, it comes down to the individual's persistence and consistent effort. Now, one can argue that that does require willpower in general, but it's also the fact of not having to deal with certain circumstances that could derail you from you moving forward to achieve your goals. I myself have dealt with clients with depression issues, anxiety issues, PTSD, and so on and so forth when it came to them needing to reach their goals. But it always came down to the fact of needing to stay consistent with their efforts and with the game plan we've set for themselves in regards to them reaching their goals, in regards to them reaching their weight loss and being able to hit their calories and being able to stay in a nutrient-dense, consistent eating regimen, and also whether it may be getting more strength, whether it may be gaining more flexibility, energy in general, and just overall transforming your health. It came down to the fact of staying persistent, whether you felt like doing it or not, whether you wanted to actually do the exercises, whether you wanted to eat that day. That was the consistent effort and the consistent fortitude of willpower that allowed you to do that. However, there were other people that found it harder than others. And even though from my view, it ultimately comes down to the idea of willpower being through consistent action and effort, it's harder for some people versus others because of what they've gone through and what they need to do. Some clients are able to just turn everything off, focus on what they need to do. They have the attention span to just tunnel vision on what needs to get done, and they can do it. Others have a harder time doing that. Others have a harder time focusing on what needs to get done, being able to stay on track on what they need to do, and also focus on the tasks and the goals at hand. And I myself can attribute to both because I've been in both worlds. When I was younger, I had a very hard time paying attention in school. I didn't have the focus that I needed to have when it came to completing tasks. I was always jumping around like crazy. I couldn't keep tunnel vision on one specific thing and get things done in the time frame that I wanted. And I was always trying to complete too many things at once. I realized those issues as I got older, especially when I got into running my fitness business. I realized I had to focus on one thing at a time and just keep persisting through with my daily tasks that'll allow me to get closer to the goals that I was trying to achieve. Now, whether you were going down the right road and doing the right things that were going to get you closer to your goal is another story, and also another video can cover that whole topic, because that's something in itself is completely different. But in the sense but doing what you need to do, if it were the right choices to make and it was the right direction to take, it comes down to just essentially being consistent with it and making the right choices day in and day out and staying consistent with it, even if you don't feel like it. Because when you start to see the results come from that repetitive action, then it starts to put you in a more joyous state. Then it starts to make you even more happier. You start to respect yourself even further. And then you start to slowly build willpower. But again, it really is easier said than done for some people versus others, because it is harder depending on what the individual is going through during their daily life and the circumstances that they have, because of what they're going through, maybe where they're even born, what life they grew up with growing up, the kind of mental fortitude they've had, maybe any forms of PTSD that they've gained from growing up in a broken household or being in a relationship with other people. There are a lot of things that somebody could be trying to deal with in regards to their weight loss and into a bit of abuse or into other factors that they've suffered. However, even when it comes down to those things, you need to try and do your best to understand and to utilize the different things I've already talked in this video that'll get you to the goals that you're talking about. Because I promise you, if you can get better at doing those things and staying focused and staying on a direction and staying on a proper meal plan and day in and day out, week after week, staying attributed to the direction and the goals and the things that you say you're going to do, you will start to get the results that you are supposed to be getting. But I'm curious to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think, what your experience is, what your experience with other people is, and what your mindset is when it comes to this topic just in general. I'm always curious to hear what people think. I like to know what their backstory is and what causes them to be able to think this way, but also what has allowed them to get the results that they've gotten or no results just as of yet. But that's the end of the video, guys. If you liked it, please comment down below, click like, subscribe, comment, share, and all the above, and I will see you guys in the next video.